Sitting in a church building doesn't make you a good man no more than me sticking my head in the oven makes me a hot biscuit. Happy Tuesday, guys. I am not myself today. I'm grieving the loss of my sweet daddy-o, who passed away early yesterday morning. I've had many people reach out to me, and I thank you so much for that. We had to make a lot of calls yesterday helping my stepmother just spread the word to my father and his many friends. He had many buddies all over the country, really, and just about every one of them I talked about what a good man my dad was. And I wanted to just give a tribute to my dad, because he wasn't what you would consider, the perfect father. But he was a good man, and he had a good heart. He taught me a lot about Christ. And there are a lot of bad people that sit in church and go through the motions. And there's a lot of good men and good women that don't go to church, but they love God and they have a good relationship with God, and they are doing benevolent work and being the hands and feet of God, not under the roof of a church, but just because that's what they believe is the right thing to do. And my dad was like that. He wasn't in church for a long time. He was raised in the church and then left after my parents divorced. He was hurt by a lot of things that went on and decided he wasn't going to step foot in another church. And I didn't understand that for a long time. And I would try to talk to him about God, and he would get extremely pissed off at me. And he would tell me to shut up. And it's scary, when your dad gets mad at you. But over the course of 25 years, I would talk to him off and on about God, even though it made him mad. And I promised my Grams right before she passed away that I would make sure that my dad went to heaven. And I promised her, I said, no, don't you worry about it, Grams. I'll take care of it. And I watched my dad do a lot of wonderful things for a lot of people that didn't look like quote unquote good people. They were rough around the edges. They lived life hard. They might have had a lot of bad past mistakes and addictions, but he would find a way to give them jobs. He would find a way to give them work at his shop, or he would connect him with someone that he knew and get them work. And he would be a voice and say, don't judge this person on how they look. They're excellent at their craft. And he would get them work, and he would help them out. And I watched him do that many times. And he wouldn't go bragging about what he did for someone. And I'm sure there was hundreds of things he's done that I don't know about, and my stepmom doesn't know about. But I do know this: when I went through my own season of stupidity, my dad never judged me. My dad never looked at me differently. My dad just loved me. He only gave me advice when I asked for it. He let me know that this was my life, but he was there for me. And I always knew with my dad that if anyone laid a hand on me, he would kill him. And he wasn't the perfect dad, and we didn't grow up under the same roof with our father, but we knew he protected us and was there for us. And when me and my father got really close after my season of adultery, because we had that connection to sin, I guess you could call it, and maybe many of you understand when someone has the same crutch or the same sin as you, you understand each other a little bit better. And for the first time in my life, I understood why he didn't want to go back to church. And God isn't in a church. I think God wants us to be a part of church because it's good for us to fellowship and be around other believers. but that's not where God is. And God is in our heart, and God is love. And my dad loved many, many, many people, not because of their status, not because they had made good decisions in life, but he saw the best and he saw the potential in people. And I love that about him. And I remember a time when one of his trailers got stolen from his house. He woke up in the morning, it was gone. And I thought he would just be mad because he had a temper at times. But I'll never forget, he said, well, Christy Lou, I guess they needed that trailer more than I did. And he just let it go. And he had a really good nature about stuff like that. The thing that I want to say to you about my dad and about my stepmom and about my mom is they always created a peaceful, respectful environment for my sister and I. They always got along. They set their differences aside. My mother, over the years, held her tongue and never really said an ill word about my father that I can remember, and I'm sure that was very challenging. But that gave us freedom to enjoy time with my dad and my stepmom, and to be able to enjoy time at my mom's, and there was emotional peace there. And it was truly the best gift that my parents, who were divorced, could have given me. And I guess I just want to share that with anyone out there that, you are holding bitterness and unforgiveness in your heart for your ex. It truly only hurts the children. And it was such a good example to me and to how to respect my own ex, and how to always care for them from afar in a respectful way, and pray and want good things for them. And I have seen that awesome peace that my daughter has to fully enjoy her father's home and my home. And I just plead with you, if you're a parent in a split home situation and maybe you've been done really, really, really wrong. My mother walked through a lot with my father, and she was wronged in many ways. But at the end of the day, she didn't let that harbor bitterness, and she certainly didn't show it to me and my sister. And that is such a gift. That's the best gift that you can give. They always say the best gift you can give your children is a good marriage. Okay, well, if you're on to plan B and the marriage part didn't work out with you and the father or mother of your children, then the next best thing you can give your children is a peaceful, respectful relationship with your children's mother or father. I can't tell you how that has made such a difference in my life, that they taught me peace and forgiveness. And to this day, when I was calling some of those people and letting them know about my dad, one of the people that used to go to church with my mom and my dad long ago when they were still married said, yeah, I ran into so-and-so, and they said that they saw Bob and Peggy and Debbie, that's my mom, my stepmom, and my dad, all eating together one Sunday after church. And I just chuckled. I said, yeah, they did that. They got along real well, and everyone was friends. And man, what an example, not just to me and my sister, but to so many people. That's very rare, but it's doable. It's doable. And that was Dad. I knew he loved my mom, and I knew my mom cared for him, and I knew my stepmom loved my dad enough to let him love my mom, if that makes sense. And she loved us enough to allow us to always have a peaceful, respectful family environment. What a gift. And if you're harboring any bitterness or unforgiveness, I just plead with you to to forgive and let that go, and think of your kids and think of the example that you can be for them. And truly, I feel so loved when I'm in the same room, or when I used to be in the same room with my mom and my dad, just knowing we were all together in the same room peacefully, and that I was born out of love, and they care enough about me to keep it peaceful. And that's the good stuff. And so I wanted to leave you with this saying: the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And that's Martin Luther King Jr. And my dad wasn't perfect, but he was a good man. And always remember, just, there are good men that don't go to church, and there are some not so good men that are in church, and only God can judge the heart. And in February, I went to church with my dad. I got to hold his hand, and we sung hymns, and it was like a dream come true for me. I always used to want to have my dad in church with me as a little girl, and I would look at other little girls with their daddies in church and be so jealous. But God gave me that gift, and I cherish it. And he was going to go back to church. He told me, he told some other people, he was ready to come back home to Lebanon Road Church of Christ. But then COVID hit, and he never really got the chance to, because church was shut down. But he let me talk to him about God. He let me pray over him, and me and Avery laid hands on him and prayed over him recently, and it was good. And I know he's in heaven now. And God was merciful with him. He didn't have to suffer. So thank you so much for praying for my dad and thinking of me. And I'm sorry this ran on forever. For those of you that hung in here and listened to me babble, I just wanted to give a tribute to my sweet daddy. And if your dad is still here, call your dad. Man, I miss calling my dad. I really just want to call him. So don't take your parents for granted. Give them a call every day, even if it's just to say hi. And if you've had a falling out with your dad or your mom, and you haven't talked to them in years and years and years, get over it. I mean, come on. You wouldn't be here without them. Just pick up the phone, break the silence, and call them. Tell them that you love them. And the past is the past. It's water underneath the bridge. That's what Dad used to always say. It's your family. And happy Tuesday. I'll see you next week. Bye.